Three, I'll call floor number one. And I see people out there. And if you'd like to raise your hand to be recognized, please state your name and your business.
Tom Gross.
Okay, I'll recognize Tom Gross.
Business is the Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Chapel location. May I approach the bench? Hi, Bertie.
It's so official today. I love it. Everybody's in that mode.
It's in that mode if you've been watching TV.
Exactly.
I'm passing out a map with approximate location of where the chapel would be.
Okay.
We just recently had our survey completed, which could change it a little bit. And as we get involved with the architects or the architect that we end up choosing, they may have to look at the topography of it and say, you know, it's better here. But it's within that general location. You know where it is?
Approximately how big is it going to be?
About 150 seats, maybe.
No, I mean dimension wise.
Oh, we're still working on
Yeah,
it.
'cause that would be the key point that I was questioning on. Because to put it on this point here with the proposed future bathhouse coming in. and
Yeah,
the
we wanted,
cross-country trails to come
we-
through there.
we wanted to move it down, you know, so with the survey,
Yeah.
we want to get it as far away from the beach as we can.
Yeah.
Just obviously the summer events in the chapel, we want to try to get away from the beach. So when we look at the survey
Cool.
plan, we'll have a good idea of how far we can, you know, bring it up to the final boundary, which abuts, I believe, the ski area land.
Mhm.
So I guess we're just, you know, wanted
Right,
to,
if you slide this down here, then that's a lot different. Because up here, you're gonna be looking
Well,
right at the beach.
there, you know, the path that comes down from the Golden Eagle and a little bridge? It's right in that direction. So it's on the other side of the bend, which bends into the beach. So visually, you
Yeah,
can't
so
see it
this
from there.
is like down in here, because the bridge is,
Yeah.
right above.
Yeah, but it's still up along the little shoreline.
It is up along, but it is further back.
Yeah, and I mean, it's
To be
obviously
away
gonna be a
from
little
So I think our
facility.
next step is gonna be, once we have the dimensions, we can kind of square the dimensions of it. And
Yeah.
place a square upon where we
Right.
land, and then get your eye view of your site view.
And so in our January meeting, in the beginning of February, we are having an interview with our final two architects. So it's possible by the end of February, beginning of March, we're hoping this will all be complete by March with a design and the location. So we can present it to you first and then at the town meeting.
And what effect would be the presenting it to us? Would you be going for a warrant article for anything specific, or?
No, I think it's just if the land is being donated for this project,
Well, we haven't determined.
I mean, how that is gonna
Yeah.
Play out.
play
Right.
out. So I think we have to do our due diligence,
Cool.
get everything done, and then present it to you. We wanted to just come in and keep you up to speed on what we're doing.
So you're taking into account that this parcel of land next to it we plan to put a pavilion
Yes,
and all of that,
yes.
the
Yeah,
0.43
so we want to
acre.
get it as far away as we can from both the pavilion and the beach. We aren't worried so much about the pavilion. And with the new, if we have to reroute the road that is currently there and bring it behind the chapel, then that is going to allow us to maybe do some landscaping over the current road and block out the beach if there are any visual.
Yeah, well, I think they're gonna have to be, you know, it's great you brought this in here. We're on a really early stage with this because there are a lot of things to consider, especially how to get, if they can get their groomers through and the rest of the stuff.
Right.
Country access.
Yeah, so I mean, we aren't in any huge rush to get this done. We want to do it right
Yeah.
and make sure that the design is correct, the location, and that. So we do not have some, massive timetable to get it, built up.
Well, the timeline that I just want to be clear on what the expectations are. So if you're interviewing at the beginning of February
Mhm.
for the architect,
February 10th.
it'll take at least a month, if not more, for the architect to even do general sketches.
Well, we have general sketches already,
Okay,
so.
are you gonna select the same architect, do you think, to continue moving forward, or you just don't know at all?
We've narrowed it down to 2, so we're
Okay.
gonna be picking one of them
Okay,
in early February.
but what do we need, what do you guys want for town meeting? As far as what,
I think what we're gonna need for town meeting.
Yeah.
As a basis with no rush in going forward for a decision at this town meeting,
yeah,
to keep going with the consensus of town meeting to move forward on the plan, is a rough idea of the dimensions, where the
Mhm.
dimensions can be put on a map like this,
And
where
show me.
people can see where and how big this is going to be and how it's going to impact.
We'll definitely
And
have
then-
that.
Yeah, and then people can keep on making their comments to see whether it's something that we want to do or if there's any opposition.
okay,
But it wouldn't be a go-ahead, yes, we're gonna give you the land to do anything, because we don't know.
That's fine.
okay, so then you wouldn't be able to do anything until March of '21.
No, and I don't
Okay.
think we were planning on that. anyway.
Okay, good, no, and that's fine, as long as
Because
that's the understanding.
Fundraising, campaign.
Yeah, no, I
so-
think that's great, but you had
Yes,
talked about a warrant article, and that's gonna need to be done about the same time that you have an architect.
Mhm.
So we're not gonna plan on a warrant
Nothing this
article
year.
in 20, okay, that's,
And I understand you've been talking to the Tyrell folks about,
yeah,
Yes.
because the other part of this is wherever you put this
Right.
is whatever
Yeah.
their future
But
plans for
that's
this
right.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And so
Yeah.
they're involved in everything.
the casino that they're gonna put in.
Yeah, right,
Casino,
casino right beside.
Well, the Elvis,
Church.
we're gonna bring the Elvis Presley church up.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
So just walk from the
Yeah.
casino over.
Yeah, nice. All right, good.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
thanks, keep you up to date.
Reggie, you got anything for us?
Reggie,
Okay, all right, good, then we'll go to approving minutes.
Thank
you.
November
6th.
Number 1.
Need to take my name off as present, I wasn't here.
it's still on there? I thought we took it off.
It says members absent, you?
It says members
That's
absent.
none.
Says none on my copy.
I've got Mike Aronson and Mike,
No, that's for the next one,
oh, December, I'm sorry.
Which one
November
did you?
6th.
November 6th.
I have November 6th one right here that I made.
There it is.
Says
Sorry.
Rich is on speakerphone, I'm here, and Mike is here. I was not here, I was in London.
Do we send the wrong one?
I,
Let's let her make copies of that because we corrected
Oh, okay.
that. She sent
There's-
those out. That's the one you sent out this morning.
no, that's November 6th one. That was,
Came in the package.
that was in the
Yes.
packet.
Okay.
Um,
So we're looking at, November sixth?
Right.
or,
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, my,
oh, I don't have November 6th now because Judy took it, so.
It says that you're there.
Oh,
We can look at December 4th. I have that one in hand if that.
you guys can discuss December 4th, because I wasn't here.
All right, so wait for Judy to come back on the sixth?
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to read it, I'm sorry.
I didn't get a chance to read December 4th.
Okay.
Did that come today?
Yes, it
Yeah.
This morning.
Table December 4th. Now, I had a couple on November 6th, but
you were looking at the wrong one, so maybe they all came from.
I've got a few, all mine.
I had some majors.
Should we wait for Judy?
I don't have a set of minutes to make corrections on or to
We'll come
refer
back you
to,
in
so.
the next few minutes. All right, let's move ahead.
Financial report.
Financial report.
We are doing very well. We're 98% through the year. and we're 96% spent.
This is the.
The revenue lines highlighted in green on your report are those that are at 100% or over collected. The recreation portion of the revenues, so that's the programming side, is at almost 95% at this point, and that tracks very closely with historical to come out at 100. 99 now, so
Getting
there's
close.
been even more. She's getting closer. See, I told you, we're gonna make 100. We're gonna make 100%. I don't think there's any departments, because by the time we do our final quarterly billing for water and wastewater, we should be tracking very well with those. I highlighted on the expense side, I highlighted those departments that are either over or that are very close to being over, that we're projecting will be at or over 100% by the end of the year. They're the ones we've been talking about,
Right.
so there's no surprises there. And we are projecting that we are gonna be underspent the overall budget, so we'll be fine.
All right, any questions on the finances, sir? All right, let's move to the November 6th minutes. Back to the minutes. All right, my first one was line 22. Discussions followed who is responsible, should be added to who is responsible.
And it should be a colon after dumpster. Full colon, or a dash.
Okay. Starting in line 35. The town is aware of light brightness and are working with electric to determine if lower wattage bulbs, however, due to da-da-da-da-da. I want something in there saying we are aware that they are not compliant with our bright skies policy. Just in case we have to come back and say to the electrician,
Yeah, so I'll just add, do not meet
yes.
current dark sky regulations.
All right. Rich, got anything else?
On line 30, this continues to be a town-wide issue. Town-wide,
I'm sorry, what line?
30. A dash of town-wide, is perhaps. Minor.
Yep.
31. You got the no heading, heading right, I think there's we can just have one more. 129.
Okay, well, I'm at 128.
Okay, I'm at 29.
And my 128, I don't know if it's for the minutes or anything, but follow up, what did we decide on that? The town council was gonna get back to us on how we can do that, remember? That's a board directive, that's just a note to me.
Oh, on the water sewer plants? I do not have anything for you.
Okay,
on that.
that was just
Yeah.
for me to.
Yep, got it. I will,
So you can go to 129.
Sharon, can you just make a note to include that on the January 8th agenda, please?
It was we talked about, I'm sorry, I'm just reading my notes a while back, result of discussion with the town council.
Yeah, and actually, Chris and I were, when this is
On the 129, we had talked about
board consensus.
Board concerns and
how we're gonna start reconciling the new changes.
And that actually is if we can take just a minute, that's a budget thing that Chris and I
Okay.
forgot to mention to you. We did not budget any staff time to actually do that work. Like, let's say the town council says you gotta follow these steps, X, Y, and Z, and have somebody go in with the property manager or whatever, we do not have a line item in the budget or any money in the budget to do that work. Who are we gonna have do it, and
I see.
how is that? Once we get the answer from town council, how do you wanna proceed? Do you want us to figure out,
Well, let's find out what the town council says first.
okay,
Because if we look at only having, say, 60 transfers a year, that's,
right, but you had wanted me to talk to her about what would be an acceptable way to get into more than that.
no, I think the way to do, what I wanted to talk about was that at point of transfer, we're not looking for a big sweeping, let's go see what people have in their houses. At point of transfer, it gets done.
Right, but then we talked about the fact that that was only gonna be 50 or 60 a year.
It's a gradual process. We're not looking to do a sweeping.
But one part of that discussion, fact that if we did 50 or 60 a year, you would have people who were paying under one
different rate, right.
system. And then other people, if I held on to my property for 30 years, I would always pay the same thing, even if I made
Yeah,
changes.
no, I understand that. That's what my thought was. I was kind of looking at it in Massachusetts with a septic inspection. The only time your septic needs to be inspected is when you transfer your property. So if you don't transfer your property, your septic doesn't have to be inspected.
Okay. I was going into that discussion with town council.
No, that would be a massive project to do, to go and it would be bigger than going.
Right, but
in.
didn't we talk about
Well,
doing
that
it
was the
that
reason
way?
talking
That was
to
the
the
reason
Town
for
council, to see
talking
if we
to
could
town
do it
council.
that way.
To see if we could, so that we had everybody on a level playing field.
But that would be a
As far-
massive cost project. That would have to be inspected every.
Oh,
property.
it'd still be over years, but over a couple of years.
But what
But-
do you set as the criteria to inspect the property? Where the transfer
Well, that's
becomes.
the problem is we were not gonna have any criteria. We were just gonna say we want to inspect.
Well, that's a massive project. That's as massive as doing the water and sewer meters.
Here's a suggestion. Why don't we contact the property owners by mail and say, this is what we have down for what you've got? And ask them to either confirm or identify
have
where
records
it's
when
wrong, and those that are wrong.
I
We don't,
think- I
that's
think we
part
have
of
That's
the
my
problem.
problem, yeah.
That's part of the problem
If
is
we had a
we
problem,
don't
we
have
could go-
the sheets.
If we knew anything was in there, we could go in and do
The,
it.
the problem is we
Don't
don't
have those
have the
records.
score sheets, so we can't tell them we have 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths.
That's what's brought,
and-
can I speak for a second?
Yeah.
That's what's brought all this up, is that there's been a couple of homeowners that have called and said, well, my neighbor's water bill is different than
Yeah.
theirs, and our units are identical. Well, I go back and try to find those records to say, well, yours has this and this one. I don't have those records. We have a very, very slim, messy box of sheets from when it was originally done. So I don't really have any answers for those folks.
Plus, you changed how things would be graded, right, on the actual score sheet.
Mhm.
So now we have a totally different
Yeah.
score sheet. Even if we had the original, then we could potentially say, we need to,
So if I, as a property owner,
Mhm.
want to make sure that I'm being treated fairly under the new score sheet, how do I go about that?
right now,
You'd have to-
you'd call us and ask us to grade go through the score sheet.
Okay.
But your rate hasn't changed. on
But your
this,
rate hasn't changed.
Because we don't know what people have in their houses.
That's right,
We've gone on what we suppose.
yeah.
So it would be kind of like giving the town money by saying, oh, I want to be sure I'm being treated fairly, because we might find you have 2 outside spigots we didn't know
That's
about.
right,
You might
exactly.
have a second laundry.
There's
you
no
might have-
reason for them to
Okay.
contact us.
Okay.
But we are treating, if we start by doing it at transfer time or doing it during a building permit or something like that, where Chris is already going in, then we're gonna have a class of property owners who are being treated differently than everybody else.
Yeah, but it exists. It's same thing. I'll go back to the septic system. Someone might have a septic system that is not currently legal in Massachusetts, but because they haven't transferred it, it still exists.
That's more like a grant.
We're just trying
Yeah.
to prevent that.
No, so
From
talk to
happening.
town council and see what she says. If we can't do it that way, and it does create a subclass,
Mhm.
it would be different. It's like, in Massachusetts, when you transfer a property, you have to have the fire department to come in and make sure you have the right amount of smoke detectors that are built up to grade. You know, so if you have a house and you have smoke detectors that seem to be blinking the right color, you're fine until they come in and say, you're not fine.
Those are more compliance issues though, and they're not.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Usage. Yeah.
They're under life safety rather than, well, I mean, just our water meters.
I don't know the answer to ask.
Another thing we talked about was just setting a new flat rate for everybody and say, if you wanna get assessed, call us up and we'll come do it.
That, we might get that as a direction.
How different are the rates? Are the rates pretty much the same in similar
Well,
units?
in, like Judy was just saying, if we have no idea,
Yeah.
because sometimes,
But you know that the bills are going out to everybody who has a place in, I don't know, pick a
But-
condominium
But
unit.
some people have 3 bedrooms, some 3 bathrooms, some have 3.5, some
Yeah.
have 2.
see,
Right, some have
those
two
are,
sets of
that's what
laundry,
we
some have
don't
one
know.
set of
Yeah,
laundry.
We have no idea.
At
They
some
may be-
time we did know, but now we.
Well, yeah,
don't
we're
have the
not
records
sure,
to
we're
show.
not sure record-wise how the original,
Mhm.
flat rate was established.
That was a long time.
And because we have made changes, we don't know how to modify a person's bill up or down. Because we don't have that original score sheet to compare to.
We just have some
And
points
so we're
that are-
trying to establish
in
a
a
new
computer.
baseline is basically what we're trying to do. I mean, it's sort of like a revaluation, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I
I
was
mean-
just thinking.
And maybe, I mean, like we do with assessing, if they don't let, if the
Yeah.
property owner doesn't let you in, the assessor looks at the structure and makes his best estimate of what's there. And so maybe we can have a similar program where we make an offer to owners to have us go in. And if we had known about the records being missed when we were putting in the meters, that would have been the idea.
Yeah.
We were there.
Well, you have to
We
give
didn't
folks
know
an
that.
incentive to let them in.
Well, and that, we'll have to come up with something, but I'll talk to town council.
Let's see first,
Figure
you know, there's something you said about uniformity and the rate for everybody, that's something they see every quarter. And, but it would sound like a rather large undertaking.
Project is gonna be huge. It's even more intensive than the meters, because you have to, before you just meter a building, now you have to go in.
To go into every unit, the Golden Eagle, Black Bear.
And count all the,
Yeah, you have 1,300 and something.
Well, when I
Right.
talked to Avatar the other day, they made a suggestion on our water rates seeing, because he came in and remoted in and was trying to help me with some areas or whatever. And he made a suggestion that some towns that had flat rate billing in the past are now doing like a service fee so that the infrastructure is being paid for. So that becomes everybody's flat rate, and then you bill on usage above that. So everybody would pay their flat rate, which would take care of the infrastructure fee, and then,
Well, we
so
can't,
there's
we
other,
decided
yeah.
not to do usage because we
We don't
have
have
meters. We don't have meters in each
Oh, in each
individual.
unit.
Each unit.
Yeah.
There, some of the meters service just a
Full
building
building.
that has 6
8.
or 8,
Yeah.
and you can't divvy up using the water.
All right, well, we'll wait to hear back on town
Okay.
council from that.
Okay,
All
sorry.
right. Calendar review. Next
Did
meeting-
you continue on with the minutes? Because I didn't think you finished or
Yeah,
approved.
yeah,
your
did you
this one.
finish? Is that
I was
the
done.
last?
no, I'm sorry, I was done.
All right, so I'll make a vote to approve the minutes of November 6th as amended. Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, calendar
One
review.
abstention.
Because she wasn't there.
January 8th is our next meeting.
Yes.
Everybody here. Okay. Planning board the 9th. Department heads. Chris, do you have to be anywhere?
I don't have to be anywhere, but I have not much. to
Yeah,
report.
we met yesterday.
Yeah, just wait for we're ready for Christmas week and wait for the mountain to get rolling.
Okay.
We're just gearing up for the 2 weeks, with all of our activities. We have started Zumba, and the last 2 weeks have been very well attended. I'm not sure if anyone knows about that.
Mhm.
Thursdays at 3.
No, I've seen
And we have several hikes scheduled during this 2 week period. And just one thing of note for us is that our kids go back to school on Thursday, January 2nd. But Boston doesn't go back to school until the following Monday. So we're gonna be even longer with our activities, full 2 weeks, so. Anyway, just thought I'd
Have you,
point that out.
have you talked to Gail about the potential
have.
for having a lot of people around the rec?
Yeah, and we have to work around the school schedule, but we have,
Is it Massachusetts or City of Boston?
I always check the city of Boston
Okay.
school system.
I would look to the western suburbs, is what the ring around the city is where most of our,
Well, the,
Residents come.
actually, the resort commented on that.
The
that their
occupancy
occupancy is up all the way through that
Significantly
weekend.
on that final weekend, which I've been here 5 years now, I've
And-
never
Yeah.
seen people here past January 1st, so.
Yeah, and I was noticing, and did you see in the occupancy report that, I mean, they're up around 80% or higher for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday after. New
After
Year's.
New Year's, so we
That's
have,
actually the
a lot
biggest,
and is that without hockey?
that's without hockey.
Okay.
So it's a big weekend.
so, anyway, just worth noting, that, but other than that, we're, Candy Cottages this weekend.
Oh, is it?
Are those also known as gingerbread houses?
No, these are Candy Cottages.
So maybe you have to, don't waste
We
your
have to
time with
assemble,
gingerbread. you
we
just
have to
fill them out.
assemble the Candy Cottages out of milk cartons, used milk cartons that I've been gathering from the area SAU schools. And then we assemble this little candy cottage and then cover it in contact paper and then supply all the candy and frosting. So it's a little different than a gingerbread house.
Great. All right, thanks. Jim?
Not much to say, just waiting for the latest scud to come through and the only other thing of note, I guess, is, well, Tree got another clean sample the other day, so.
Great.
It's 4.
All right.
We ready to go to the state?
Yeah, we're gonna wait till after the holidays, and I talked to Gene Emery this week, and he said that he's gonna figure out a plan and give us a call.
What's the use of going to the state since we can't use the well anyhow?
That may be part of why bother. That may be part of the conversation, Margaret. That's, yeah, so we may wait, but it's nice to know that we're not getting any infiltration, at least not yet, into the well. That's a big deal.
Yep.
All right, engineering services RFQ.
Yep,
On
so
schedule, you had a couple of
on
responses.
schedule, we've had some responses, some inquiries, and I expect that Friday we'll have at least 4 or 5 that
That sounds great.
have contacted us. So.
All right, the sign application permit for the WVSR Welcome Center.
You have it in your packet.
I
Here's
didn't have
the
any problems with it. Anybody else?
cover sheet.
All right,
So
I'll
if
make
you
a
want to
motion to
sell that,
approve the sign permit. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, legal service change.
You have the letter regarding Stephen Whitley leaving the firm, and Stephen reached out to us and told us where he was going and asked if we would like to go with him or whether or not we would be staying with Mitchell.
All right, anybody have any thoughts on it, Margaret?
I don't see any reason to leave Mitchell.
Okay, Rich?
I
I mean,
agree.
we've been
Mark,
using
your
Laura.
Yeah, I'm good
We've
with
been
that.
using Laura, right?
We've been using Laura in addition to Stephen and even Walter sometimes.
All right, can I get a motion do we need a motion to, no, we don't.
Well,
need a motion.
I'd like to have.
On the record.
Be
We
on
get
the
a motion
record.
to stay with the Mitchell Group.
I move that Water Valley continue to use the Mitchell Municipal Group, PA, as our town council.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Now, assessing bids update, we had a new player come in for assessing.
Yeah.
And as I understand, it's about $1,000 more a year.
At the most, because it's a daily rate, and
Right.
it depends on the number of actual building permits that they have to review and that sort of thing. It'll be somewhere between $200 and $800 more to go to the new
Okay.
company.
Any thoughts, Margaret?
Well, are we dissatisfied?
I am.
Okay.
If you remember the process last time, we went through the process, and the last time was a Conifer meter.
Comerford needed Perkins.
Right, and we did have someone who was responsive, who worked with us, who passed away at that point.
Mhm, Mark
Uh,
Peter. Yeah.
And I remember that the last time we had a full reassessment, not one of the realty firms was contacted to justify and explain sales. And because of that, we wound up in a situation where we lost $3 million in value for no apparent reason. And had to go to DRA and meet with DRA and our assessing firm to try to square it away. Do you guys remember that?
Okay.
Mark?
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Well, I think that needs to be on the record for the simple reason that if we go with someone else, I know it makes more sense to do it now before we're in a real full assessment period to give them some experience. And it is going to cost a little bit more, but it's not an extreme amount more in terms of going forward. So I think that we ought to change at this point in time.
I agree, yeah. And the other thing I'd like to have read into the record that we put out an RFP for assessing services
Yes.
last year, and the only people who responded were our existing firm.
Right,
And this
the
firm,
last time.
this firm has also been used by other towns in the area.
It has, Molten Borough, Holderness, so similar
And we
communities
discussed
with
this.
Right.
vacation,
Yeah.
with vacation homes.
All right, so can I have a motion to award the contract to?
Yeah. What's the?
It is the Whitney Consulting Group.
Whitney Consulting Group.
I move that we move to the Whitney Consulting Group for our property assessment services.
I'll second the
All
motion.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
How long a contract is this?
2 years.
2 years.
And this will take us to
Are you-
the year when we need a reval, so.
Yeah, there's no signature
Full
needed.
reval. Okay,
Okay, dam project update. Mark, you have a letter that says that they will issue a letter.
we have an email, from DES that says that they have, received all of the as-built drawings and they were satisfied with the walkthrough that they did, at the completion of the project. And that the administrative order has been complied with. They still need to go through their legal department for review. So the official letter that releasing the AO is to come, but we have met all of the criteria that we need to as a town. So if that legal
By
review
the
goes
date.
beyond December 31st, we're okay.
We met the date.
We have met the date,
What that means to you folks at home
yes.
is that we were under an order to have the dam repaired by December 31st, 2019.
Correct.
And this email we have received from DES has said that we have done that. And
To their
to their
To their
satisfaction, which is the satisfaction we were looking for.
That's
And
right.
we have complied with that. So the only thing hanging us up would be a legal point,
Review of
which will
paperwork,
not
yeah.
kick in the fines of $2,000 a day, which we were put under the gun with if we had not met the December 31st guideline.
Yeah, this is very good news.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Now about those lights.
Now we'll fix the lights, we'll start to work on
We'll attempt,
it. We'll attempt to
we'll
fix
do our best.
Okay, great. And we've discussed the ice arena.
Or you have something in open.
I do not have any, I did want to just mention, under item number 10, that we've received test results from our most recent bacteria test on the water system, and everything came back totally clean. So we have no, that's a monthly test that we do, and the test sites were the elementary school, the BBTS, and the Black Bear Lodge, and they all came back clean.
Great. And is there any other correspondence?
I do not have any other correspondence for you at this time.
All right.
Do we have any,
Did I miss anything?
do we have any news on the negotiation over the remaining?
Not yet.
Okay,
I could, we may wanna just go for a minute into non-public. and I can
Okay.
provide you with an
We did get that DRA, the equalized assessment.
update. Oh, go ahead.
This is the ratio.
Yeah.
So for the medium ratio for 2019 is 98.3%, which is last year in 2018 was 95.9 for the medium ratio. Or 18, 95.9 for the medium ratio. And then in the equalized ratio, which is the one that we really go with, is 99.9% for this year.
Wow.
And last year was 96.3. So we are as close to 100% as you can get
Very good.
Without being.
without being 100%.
Great. Well, I will make a motion at 3:40 that we go into non-public to discuss the matter that might affect
Legal.
our reputation. Thank you all for coming. Have a nice holiday.
yes,
Thanks,
You as well.
Thank you, Brooke, for your time.
Good job, Brett.
My pleasure.